Okay, so I've been postponing this for a while. I haven't been around for a month because I've been recovering from double inguinal hernia surgery. And one of the reasons I had postponed it for 10, maybe 12 years on one side, the other one, this side was probably only 2 or 3 years, was, I'm a solo ager. I'm a woman in my late 70s and I live alone and in Mexico. But it would have been the same there. It would have been worse actually if I was in the States. Um, so the big questions were, well, who's going to take care of my dog? What if I, come home and I can't take care of myself? Certainly for the first few days, maybe for the first week. And but anyway, it became very clear to me. I walk daily with my dog, and it became very clear to me time was running out on this. I had to do something about it soon. So I had called a doctor I had heard about, a surgeon here in Ensenada, and totally freaked out the day I was going. I went totally out of my body. I couldn't remember like where my keys were in my car because I suddenly went, "Oh, you're going to have surgery, Carol. Face it." Anyway, I want to say this. I was very well treated. There were two surgeons involved, and actually four doctors involved. The two surgeons, the doctor who handled all the instruments, and the anesthesiologist, and then there was somebody else. I also want to say that it was $30,000 to $70,000 less having it done in Ensenada, as almost all surgeries are. You just have to be sure that you check out the doctor, which I had done. Everybody, we've known this man for a number of years. And also that the hospital or clinic that you attend to has no known issues. So I actually was in a Mexican clinic, and they're very different than the United States, by the way. They're set up for the family. So you go, I had a single room, but in it was this large couch. It's because in Mexico, when a family member goes to the hospital, the whole family goes with them. And they bring bedding and they bring food and they stay overnight. And it's really quite wonderful. It wasn't for me because I was alone. And we're thinking, oh my God, I made a terrible mistake just as they're rolling me into the surgery. I guess they call it theater. Anyway, things worked out very well. So far, so good. And it's been a month. In 2 days, it'll be a month. I came home. However, I was in much weaker shape than I thought I would be in, having only had surgery once before in my life when I was like 37, about half my age now. And wow. So quickly, my friend who picked me up from the hospital, she and her husband, she's an ex-nurse, and so she quickly arranged, we started calling around for help, Carol needs help. And I actually hired a guy who usually just, takes care of my gardening, cleans the house. But I knew that he had helped other people. And he came and he walked the dog twice a day. And he lived here with me. I have a large enough house that somebody can live in it. He lived upstairs. And for the first 3 or 4 days, actually, he was here almost 2 weeks. He would make a light meal for me. And then I, gained my feet and I could start to walk and I could get upstairs. I live in a 2-story house and I could make my own meals. And so little by little, or not so little by little, with only a couple of weeks, I was fine. And so I'm very grateful for that. I will tell you, a friend of mine said, women get hernias? I think people think women are super women, like that we don't have heart attacks, that women can't get AIDS. Yeah, women get hernias. Women get heart attacks. And if you have a hernia, the sooner you take care of it, probably the better. The younger you are, probably the better. But I'll tell you, it took me a month, and I was very frightened. I was reading horrible stories, mostly written by men, online of, oh my God, the agony they were in. They couldn't sleep, they couldn't sit, they couldn't this. And this is a real difference between men and women. Not only that we handle pain differently, but as it happens, this is stomach surgery, and it's low on your stomach. And men's genitalia, you may probably know this, is different than women's. So I didn't have to worry about my testicles, which I'm sure is very, very painful. It wasn't very, very painful. I actually only took pain meds, I think, 2.5 days. After the middle of the third day, I went, we're fine. So that's why I've been absent for a month or so. I have recently started writing again. And the Ephraim, with the guy who was helping me, is gone. We had a little tiff at the end when he borrowed my car for 8.5 hours and supposed to be gone for 3. But it's Mexico, and as you know, I'm very forgiving of Mexico, and very, very lucky to be here, by the way. Very lucky that everything has worked out, and I hope if you're in some situation that everything works out for you too. You know what? The truth is, it will. It always does. That's